My ex-girlfriend cheated on me with a coworker. Any advice or just an opinion? So my ex-girlfriend of 3 years recently cheated on me with her coworker. When I first met her she had nothing. No job, barely any money, and no car. She was living with her mother until she got kicked out. This isn't the first time she's jumped from house to house with family members or friends. So I took her in to live with me at my mother's house. We'd been dating for about 9 months when this happened, but we were already very close and we loved each other. I helped pick her up from school, I gave her a place to stay. When she had no job or money I fought every day with my job to get her to work at my job, and she eventually got hired. I helped teach her how to drive and brung her to do her driver's test to get her license. I was there to bring her to her graduation when she really had no one. Eventually, when she was getting financially stable, she wanted to get a car, and who helped her find a car? Me. It wasn't the best car, but it got her from point A to point B. During our 3 years together we obviously had arguments and ups and downs, but that's normal. She also was very bipolar and didn't use much manners with people like I did, so sometimes I thought to myself that she's kind of different from me. During the relationship there were many arguments, and she was that person who didn't like the silent treatment or didn't like me ignoring her when we needed to calm down. She kept poking me and provoking me to keep arguing with her, and then suddenly she would get very emotional to the point of threatening to sussy asterisk if I left her. I would admit there was a time I gave her a 1-inch punch to the arm because I was dealing with a spine injury and she took my phone away from me when I didn't want to argue. I just wanted to look at TikToks, so we don't argue, but she hates the silent treatment. She grabbed me and even digged her nails into my skin so I can let go of my phone. She pulled me and refused to give my phone back while I have so much pain from my spine and sciatic nerve. I wanted to just ignore the situation and let us cool down, but I never ever beat her or abused her like she said I did. I regret what I did and always apologized to her and to Jesus. Anyways, fast forward to the situation, she ended up getting depressed and upset from our job because it got so bad, and I agreed with her. So she ended up finding a new job and I was proud of her. She would work during the night and come home in the morning, but it started to get a little weird because most couples don't worry about not waxing their legs or making sure they are very clean and looking good when they are very close, but she made sure she looked amazing and made sure she waxed almost every day. Mind you, this is a warehouse job, so there's no point in looking amazing there. It's been a month since she started working there, and all of a sudden when she started working every day overnight and always had some excuse or some story on why she's going to work early or coming home late, she looked guilty, but I trusted her so I didn't question it. That was until one day I started getting these gut feelings like really bad, and I decided to check our tablet and see messages of her talking to another guy in a very flirting way, even talking about can't wait to see you later, cuddle with you, and even going out on dates. When I found this out my world just shattered and I couldn't believe it. At the time I was trying to contact her from work, but guess what, she wasn't at work, she was hanging out with him. So my idiot at the time got upset and gave her PC a good punch, which broke some things, out of anger and confusion. She laughed at me on the phone when I was heartbroken, thinking of all our memories, vacations, our bucket lists. A week later, after kicking her out, she wanted to talk and we did, but she showed no sympathy and kept denying the cheating and was saying that she needs to love herself right now and that the relationship was getting toxic. I wasn't showing her the honeymoon stage anymore, and the reason why this all happened was because of me. But mind you, the weeks before and all the time I took her to sporting events, out to eat, and to the movies, etc., almost every day, even after having surgery. She ended up moving on with this person who is younger than me and has a sports car which she likes all of a sudden, who she barely knew for a month, and she told him that I was abusive, and that I never loved her, and she lost weight because she didn't eat, but she never made anything for herself. It was always me making her food or making her smoothies. My mother lived with us to see all this and didn't like the way she treated me. My ex ended up telling me that this guy supposedly was there for her and showed her that he will help fix her and never hurt her. Not only me but all her friends, and our friends cut ties with her because they knew how she was, and what she did was disrespectful to all of us. They also seen the proof. I eventually blocked her on everything, and she still lies about things with this guy even though there's proof. Even told him that I'm still currently messaging her at night when I'm the one who blocked her, and I have all the screenshots of her trying to get to me. So what do you guys think? Am I at fault for this happening? I had a somewhat similar thing happen to me with an ex. She went to visit her mom one weekend, and was supposed to be back Sunday around lunchtime. By 8 p.m. that evening, she finally got home, and I knew she had cheated. Strong gut feeling, an argument ensued, and she never admitted it. I slept in the guest room. The next morning we started arguing again and she left. A week later I learned that she actually had relationships with a guy in the back of her RAV4 in the parking lot of some bar after it closed that Saturday when she was at her mother's. Her and this guy stayed together for years, and have 2 kids together now. An old friend of mine who is apparently good friends with her now, messaged me recently and told me he left her. He found out she was cheating on him. What goes around comes around. Ghost, block, and delete from your life. You should have left her in the streets where you found her. Keep this walking disaster of a human far, far away from you. You get an A for effort in trying to help her, but some people cannot be helped. Just let that ship sail, please. Update and aftermath of trying to heal but ended up with more BS from the lover now. This is an update from my original post I made a month ago. You can view it on my page. Sorry for it being so long. So after D-Day, 2 months ago, I came to terms and really understood my worth and why chase a cheater. The first month I was really depressed and confused. I never felt like this before and wished I had a time machine to fast forward because the pain and thoughts would haunt me. I wasn't eating, I couldn't sleep, and I wasn't motivated. I wanted to speak to her even though what she did was bad. I obviously really loved her and wanted to get some closure at least. My idiot would text her a lot the first few days telling her he was sorry if she didn't hold his hand too much or buy him flowers every week or something like that. She didn't really text back, she only texted back on her own time and was annoyed. A few days later she wanted to meet up and talk and we did. I was excited and also scared. She basically didn't talk about her cheating, she went and talked about how I didn't treat her with the love she wanted, that I didn't like to kiss her in public, and she wished we had the honeymoon stage still even after 3 years. She said it was toxic and that she gave up on herself and needs time to love herself. I'm hearing what she has to say, but she's not talking about the cheating. She still said I was overreacting and it was nothing. I seen also that day she also had already changed her phone password, which was our date, and changed her lock screen photo of us to something else. After all that I still was curious about her, but she again didn't like talking with me for some reason. I would tell her how I was depressed, can't sleep, and eat. I said all those and she told me, see now you know how I felt like 24/7. I don't want to sound like an ridiculous and say that she's lying about her emotions, but she was always hyper, happy playing her video games and then loving me later every day. She seemed normal to me and others. She went on to tell me at least I have a place to stay because I kicked her out for cheating and she's supposedly sleeping in her car at parking lots. I told her and also my parents told her that she can sleep in a different room at our house because it's dangerous outside alone in a parking lot. She refused and said she's fine. I knew her day off and told her let's meet again to at least sit down and talk, but she refused and said not to text her that day because she's going to be sleeping all day and needs rest. That day comes and I didn't believe she would be resting, so I ended up finding a video of her and the lover 3 states away at an event. I was again hurt. The same day also someone drove past the lover's house and saw her car there. So she had been staying with him this whole time. Instead of her lies about sleeping in her car in a parking lot, she told me the parking lot she would sleep at, and I never seen her car there either. So I finally accepted it and moved on with so much pain. Throughout the month of her getting her belongings, she always had the lover in his car down my street and acted like we didn't see him. Even after what she did to me, I still was taking care of her pets. Until one day I had enough of doing good things for her while she had the time of her life with the lover. I told her get the rest of your stuff and leave me alone. She got upset and again bashed me for not ever helping her and that I never did anything for her. Even threatening to bring me to court if I found a better home for the pet. He kept insulting me and then changed his attitude and begged me to take care of the pet if I wanted it. I said no and he got angry again, insulting me. She ended up getting the pet with the lover. Next month she moved in with her mom and all of a sudden I started getting messages from her on a different account begging and saying she was sorry. Saying that she's ready to get back together and wants to fix things now, and that she also has no relationship with the lover, but she said they still talk. She literally said please 1,000,000 times in every message. I ignored her because at this point I turned my sadness into anger and motivation. I also knew she was probably saying all this because she was sleeping by herself this time, watching our pets, having to search for a place to live and could be using me to help her. She was still with the lover BTW. This went on for a month. She made fake accounts, emailed me, and tried reaching out to my friends saying she was depressed, even had her siblings message me, saying how can I just ignore her and throw it all away. Me throw it all away. Now after her getting a place she went completely silent, kinda weird. It's been weeks of silence and I felt like I could really move on. Until today I got a message from the lover. I was annoyed when I seen that. I opened it and the lover was talking trash saying he should be upset. How he wants to hurt me for hurting and abusing her every day for years. Excuse me? I never physically abused her every day like he said. I'm not that type of person. I have sisters and would not like a man to mistreat them. He called me names, even saying he knows where I live and has so much info about me. He also mentioned even though he was young he was more mature than me. He also bragged about being with her and getting laid. I was more angry about her telling him lies that I was an abuser, and that's all I did to her for years. Mind you, I live with my parents and siblings and they can vouch for me and they seen firsthand everything. They were also shocked and angry, and knew how good we were when we were together. I told him respectfully like a grown-up to just leave it alone, move on with her, and that she's been messaging me to try again with me for a whole month. He didn't care about that. He kept talking trash, threatening me and bragging to me. Even though I'm young I stay away from social media. I don't like the immature drama, and I prefer keeping a relationship to myself instead of showing it off for everyone. I have what they call an old soul. It's just crazy to me that I was with a quiet/fun girl who I thought loved me. We had marriage plans, had our future kids' names ready, had so much fun together, to a person who lies about me for her to get sympathy from others and possibly putting my family and myself in danger. I don't understand how after 2 months of moving on, the lover messaged me out of nowhere bashing me and bragging to me. I completely ignored/blocked her for over a month. Friends told me my ex started sharing posts throwing shade at me, sharing posts of how she's being treated better in a short amount of time versus 3 years, which happens to be the amount of time we were together. I'm still moving on, but I feel like there's always something going on. Edit. Another reason why she felt like she didn't see the relationship working is because I refused to move out with her into an apartment while we had a whole finished basement to ourselves rent-free. And I always mentioned to her that it felt very early to move on like that together. Another thing is every time before when I would tell her maybe we should split, she would get very emotional and say that she had nowhere to go, and if I left her she would sussy asterisk herself, while holding pills in her hand. All the time. Now she freely walked away with no emotion or sussy asterisk threats when I kicked her out. Just ignore the ridiculousness and let her throw shade. She only does it to lure you back. She is a reactive bully. They feel they have the sign when they can get you to react to their ridiculousness. Just block the lover, and if anyone believes her lies then they don't deserve your time or energy as well. You need to go to the police and let them know about the threats. You also need to send a cease and desist letter to your ex for slander. Spreading false rumors can really affect your life in every way. While it's difficult to prove this, a letter from a lawyer can potentially get her to shut up. These people are harassing you, and if I were you I would have gone to the authorities like yesterday. She is nuts. Go and get a restraining order. You've been pain shopping for a couple of months. Go to therapy. Get someone new when you're ready. Ignore any call, text or post from her. The best revenge is to ignore them. She is a loser. She will end up with a loser. Be glad this happened before kids and marriage. Her family is trash too. Be glad you're not part of it. They're supporting a cheater who has blown her life.